Hey there, y'all. It is Between Two Teeth. I'm Bobby,
I'm Steffi Steph. Nice to see you guys again.
and together we're Between Two Teeth.
Whoop,
So,
whoop.
today, I've been asked by a bunch of students who are getting ready to graduate, and they said, hey, can you give me some book recommendations for kind of learning about business? They talked to me a bunch. I finished my MBA a couple of years ago, and they were wanting some books to help them with starting a business. Why don't you go? What are
Yeah.
recommendations that you could give them on that?
Well, in broad terms, I would just say I'd recommend reading and learning
Reading is good.
in general. And you don't have to kind of box yourself in either. Read what you want to read. Gosh, in dental school, we were told what to read.
Yeah.
And part of me kind of, I know y'all are asking for recommendations, but part of me just wants to say read what you want to read.
But they're asking for
But read.
recommendations.
And we'll get to that for sure.
And you're not wrong, and I think the challenge is a lot of times you get done with school and you're like, oh my gosh, I need a breather.
So here's the lesson, and we've got a book list. We can publish a book list. That's easy. And the books on it, we're not the first people to recommend them.
Give some.
Well, hold on. Hold on.
I thought you were going to tell me I had to check myself before I wreck
Yeah,
myself.
you probably should.
All right.
So my point here is that you have to, right now you're in a transitionary period where you're coming from an organized setting where people tell you what to study, how to act, what to do, and you're about to get out into an environment that is way more open-ended. And what
True.
I mean by that is you're going to have to transition from someone telling you what to learn and when to learn it, and take responsibility for your own lifelong
I
education.
know, but they're asking. They literally said, please, sir, give us a
Yeah,
recommendation.
and we're gonna
give
give
them a
you-
recommendation. Come on.
We're going to give you guys some recommendations. And I guess I'm going to read them like rapid
No,
wildfire.
just give them one. Give them one.
As a Man Thinketh.
Haven't read it. I like The White Coat Investor, especially for doctors. That's a good one that you had talked about. Terrific.
In addition to As a Man Thinketh, The White Coat Investor is also really good to read. And the reason it's good to read is because it talks about setting up different accounts, and it also talks about healthcare providers, physicians, dentists, etc., getting taken advantage of with irresponsible spending habits.
Yes, and that can be a problem. And we've got a video kind of talking about that. When you get out, you start making money because you finish school, what are you going to do? People are maybe going to take advantage of you. Yes, I agree with that. I like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's an oldie but a goodie. And what I like is you're getting ready to start a career, whatever that is, and it is great to have some of the basic things down. And that's a book that really helps you do that.
And I would say I like Ego is the Enemy and the Obstacle is the Way. That's just that really spoke to me in my mindset getting out of residency. And it was, those two were both very impactful books for me.
Yeah. I like What Got You Here Won't Get You There. That's a book with a lot of details. I know we've tried to listen to it via Audible, and we've had to pause it a bunch of times and think through it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It has a lot of hard truths in there.
Yeah.
A lot of hard truths. Once again, it's helping you to be a leader, to work well with others, and how to move the ball down the court.
Yeah, close enough.
Field.
Canadian sports
Yeah.
jokes. I would say things by Richard Rohr, such as Falling Upward and The Immortal Diamond. They're very thought provoking, and it's almost
Awesome.
like taking a random class in what is it? Not psychology, but
Philosophy.
philosophy. Yeah.
And I like because him and I know anything by Brene Brown, who's speaking at SmileCon coming
Brene
up.
Brown's got a lot of great books.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. If you want to get a little kind of snippet, you can see your TED Talk is a really efficient way to kind of get on the Brene Brown train there, if you will. And some of her stuff is Daring Greatly and The Gifts of Imperfection. Those are wonderful.
And what I like about adding that in when you get out of school, you're trying to figure out yourself.
Sometimes. Some people are.
Oh, that's a good point.
It depends on where you're at, and that's what I'm saying.
You may have it all figured out. Yeah, so we
No.
shouldn't be telling them.
So I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
I had a ton of people in dental school who they're just from all walks of life. Some people were non-traditional students. Some people were like me and just kind of bulldoze right on through. Some people have families and kids. You know, maybe you read a book on if you're about to become a mom or a dad.
Right.
You may pick up a parenting book. I don't know.
Totally get it. And I just forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Oh,
I'll pick it up.
some people don't read. They get done and they're like, I'm done. Don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Read what you want to read.
Yeah.
And I would say the only obligation I would push upon you guys is is to figure out. Dude, you're throwing me off
I'm doing
here.
a demo.
No, stop doing a demo. Like, it's the Grapes of Wrath.
It's
is
the
what it's
Grapes of
got.
Wrath,
If
right
you want to
there.
go back to your 8th grade literature class.
I'm telling you, the Grapes of Wrath, once I started doing well in business and practice and was feeling like a really big shot, that book helped put me in my place and gave me perspective.
I think it's... Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think it's important to rediscover the joy of learning. And I know that sounds super nerdy, but for me in dental school, I got so burnt out, and in residency, we would have all these papers to read in residency, and I was just done with people literally telling me
you.
I had to
They're like,
learn about physiology.
You got to read this.
Bone morphogenetic
And that.
proteins, and I was just like, man, as I'm discovering in my early 30s, I won't say what you're discovering in your age.
Hey, whoa,
What I'm discovering is that if you enjoy what you're doing, man, you're gonna pick it up so much quicker, and it's gonna be you'll be able to influence with that knowledge a lot better.
And totally, it's a journey. Dabble a little bit, learn a little bit of some of those business books. Learn about communication, learn about relationships, learn about yourself.
Yeah, so one on my list, it's one of them is the 5 love languages, and that might sound a little
Little woo-woo.
yeah, a little woo-woo, whatever we're talking about there. But the reason I have it on there is maybe you're having trouble with your spouse, or maybe you're having trouble connecting with a friend or a mom or a dad or a brother. And if you, this is a life book.
Yeah.
And it's actually a pretty good one. So the 5 love languages is great.
I'm going to do another demo.
Demo.
Now, we don't know if this is given it in reverse image or not, but this is the practice of adaptive leadership. One of the professors at Harvard Business School, Ronald Heffez, great book. But to close it off, do you have any other books?
Is that on Audible?
I think it is. And from an efficiency standpoint,
Yeah, make them on Audible.
If Audible is fantastic. I know we do that a lot. Sometimes, like with my MBA, we got a book. So this actually was from my MBA. You get a book, and if I could get it on Audible as well, I'd read it some of the time, listen to it some of the time for efficiency. Do you have any more books you want to talk about from the list before we talk about a newspaper?
What's the telomere book?
Telomeres?
Yeah, there's a book that I'm reading right now that talks about the shortening of your telomeres. I think that stuff's interesting as all get out.
And it's going to have more of an impact if you read about it and implement the strategies when you're 30. The things that we're talking about as far as how to be effective in relationships, how to be an effective communicator, those are things that you start doing that now when you're 25 or 30. That's going to exponential gains. It's kind of like investing early.
Yeah.
Boom, up it goes.
And I think with dental what I always thought I was supposed to read when I got out of dental school, all right, you've seen them, the 50 book list, or the 50 kind of bullet point book lists of all the leadership books, the 40-hour work, all of them, essentialism,
I
there's
think it's
so
a
many.
4-hour work week.
Did I say
Instead of
40 hours?
you did.
Yeah, so my point though is
You want to shrink it down.
don't go out and inundate yourself
relax.
with a bunch of the same topic. Instead, try to have range.
Dabble. Oh, and that's a book.
And that's the book I'd
Look
recommend
what you
as
did
well.
there. You segue. And lastly, as we finish off this, I know both of us read the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
That has been something.
Current events.
We don't look at it for, what's the price of Apple or General Electric today. The articles that are in there, current day things, but also I found when I was doing my MBA, the fact that I was reading the Wall Street Journal helped me with so many things. Microeconomic things, macroeconomic things, geopolitics, all this stuff. You get it every day. You take it to a coffee shop. People look at you like, what on earth is in your hands?
That's assuming you
my
have the
gosh.
printed copy or the
Yeah.
version of the Wall Street
Yeah.
Journal.
But so I would push you to get that. Just try it out. Check it out. So anyways, that's our advice. I like what you're saying as far as don't be overly freaked out about this book I have to do. See what interests you. Talk to friends and say,
And don't be
what are you
afraid
reading?
to read some fiction. All the Light We Cannot See, it's based on a true story, but it's fictional characters. And so for that, I would say doing some fun reading is real important. And actually, I would start, if you're really wanting to know what to read, you just got out of dental school, man.
Or other school. This is for other people.
Or for any school.
Anybody.
Part of it is like I said, find the joy in reading. Pick up a fun nutritional cookbook or something like that. And I'm going to leave off with a quote from As a Man Thinketh.
I may have to read that book because I've never read it.
And I'm pretty sure you've read it. It's a good one. I've listened to it. It's a really short read, and I've listened to it about 5 times over some long runs, and it's fantastic. But the best quote in the book, and it kind of sums it up with the title, is, "As a man thinketh, so is he." So the important point here is think. Try to discover new things about yourself, about others, and don't be bashful. Relay what you're learning to other people, and you'll find it kind of comes alive in your life, and you start to notice examples of it in everyday life. And that's kind of how you build your lifelong learning knowledge base.
I love it. This was a long one. If you like what we're talking about, please hit the subscribe down below. Keep
Thanks,
learning,
guys.
keep reading.